This philosophy by itself is so critical.
CEOs and leaders make their teams and their organizations more effective. Companies that have the healthiest cultures are the ones that actually win.
The better your team perform, the better results you'll get, and to me, the more fun you'll have at work, which is, of course, one of the most important things. So it's very simple, but it's so important for all teams to adopt 5 dysfunctions of a team. Golden nugget number 1, but I want to talk a little bit about why teamwork is the ultimate competitive advantage.
The sum of the parts matters more than the stars. And this is true in every company I work with, too. It's not about the individual prowess. It's about how you can put it all together so that 1 + 1 + 1 = 12 rather than 2.5. An all-star can be a great team player as long as they know there's going to be no tolerance for doing things that are in their best interest at the expense of the team. So when you move that person off who's not team-oriented, everyone else shines.
So now we got golden nugget number 2, dysfunction number 1. A lack of trust is at the root of dysfunctional teams.
Yeah, trust is one of those concepts that sounds very simple, but it's also misunderstood. Trust on a team is what I call vulnerability-based trust. When you can break down a team so where everybody gets to the place where they can admit what they don't know and they can be that raw with one another, it changes everything. The good news is that most people want to be vulnerable, but it requires the leader to go first, and that will inspire the rest of the team to do it. Many leaders seem like they're not interested in this because it seems risky. What they need is somebody to be kind enough and courageous enough to help them in a humble way see the benefits of this. So what I say is don't give up on your leader. Don't assume that just because they seem not to want to be vulnerable that they're not willing to. When you go to a leader and go, listen, I'm not here to tell you I could do your job because I can't, but there's some things I want to share with you, not out of superiority, but because I care and I want to serve you. If you do that and you realize, hey, this guy, this gal is not interested in being vulnerable, they just are not going to do it. You have to accept that and focus on your circle of influence versus your circle of concern.
Which leads us to golden nugget number 3, which is dysfunction number 2, a fear of confrontation.
If there's not trust, if people are not vulnerable with each other, conflict is not a good thing. When people are vulnerable, then conflict becomes nothing but the pursuit of truth or the best possible answer. People have to be willing to disagree. They have to disagree around the issue or the idea. We do have to understand that conflict is going to look different from one culture to another. Some people are more geared toward animated conflict, some people aren't, and you find your level as a team. If you trust each other and you're honest with each other and you never hold back, you're mastering good conflict.
Golden nugget number 4, dysfunction number 3, absence of commitment.
Conflict begets commitment. You have to trust each other in order to engage in good conflict. At the end of the conflict, you make a decision that people buy into. If they're not being honest with each other in conflict, they're not going to get to commitment at the end of the conversation. I'm not a believer in consensus. What I'm a believer in is everybody speaks their mind, everybody puts their ideas out there, the leader takes it all in, and if there's not a natural consensus, the leader breaks the tie and everybody truly commits to that decision. People who don't agree, but who know that they've been heard and they know that their ideas have been considered and factored into the ultimate decision, have an immense capacity to buy into something even if it wasn't their idea. And then you say, and I'm going to hold you accountable for that. And they're like, great. This brings us to the next thing, golden nugget number 5, which is you have to be willing to hold them accountable for what you're committing to. And the whole team has to be willing to hold one another accountable when someone strays from the decision. The leader should not be the primary source of accountability. It should be team members. The best teams in the world do not rely on the leader. They do it with one another. It's more efficient, it's quicker, it's more powerful because the idea of letting down one of your teammates is far more distasteful than getting a bad performance review. Confronting them and holding them accountable is an act of love. And that's not touchy-feely, it's just real.
Golden nugget number 6, dysfunction number 5, failure to focus on goals.
If you're a great team, you will see results. The collective results of the team, the goals, that's what demonstrates great teamwork. What's going to happen on a bad team is the individuals on that team are going to be focused on their own results. They have to set aside their own individual needs for the good of the collection. It has to be the collective results of the team taking precedent over the individual results of the team members. That is easier said than done because we don't come out of the womb looking out for the team. We come out looking for ourselves, which is why you need that trust and conflict and commitment and accountability to leave no wiggle room for people to be focused on themselves over the good of the team.
Don't forget to connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So thank you so much for tuning in. a fantastic week, everybody.